But yeah, now I'm going. We are live.
Sweet.
And with that being said, as I'm not even seen on your screen,
Seen what on my screen?
it's just your desktop. Just
Oh,
the void of
yeah.
your desktop.
True. Hold on. Let
You don't even want to show off your own Discord channel? What's wrong with you?
There we go.
There we go. All
Yeah.
right.
I
So,
moved it to the other screen when I was talking to Angus, but now I can move it back.
uh, it's not like you and Angus got like not safe for work content. Anyways, with that being said, this is episode 2 of Wu-Tang Tactics. I got myself, Jelly Slayer 19, actually streaming it this time, not recording it, just out of pure laziness and duality. And then we got Mr. Velocity over there,
Hey,
who
what's up?
hit
Yeah.
who hit Masters recently on the NA servers.
Yeah, it's about time, to be honest.
And yet is afraid to try to climb through Masters. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, a big accomplishment. And didn't you hit Oceania Masters again too?
Yeah, so order of events, I hit it on my NA Smurf, which is ironically not a Smurf anymore. It is probably going to be converted into my main account, and when I have the guts one day, I will jump back on that account and climb with it. And then I got to master in Oceania in under 40 games, so feels pretty good, man.
You hit Masters under 40 games?
Actually, I think it was exactly 40 games.
What the fuck? You can't replicate that in NA, that's for sure. I don't
That
think so.
is definitely for sure.
That that is a hard task to replicate, that's for sure, in any server, regardless, small or
Yeah.
big region. So what? Patch 10.16. It's been out for about what now? A week? I think it's a week now. Week and a half, maybe.
Um, I think we are coming up on 2 weeks actually.
Oh, so here we are doing it right at the end of a patch with 10.17 coming around the corner. But anyways, with that being said, I don't think there was really much of a power shift in what is good and what is bad outside of Astros. I think Astro Sniper's taking a little bit of a hit.
Yeah. So very interestingly enough, before this patch dropped, I was a Brawler Blaster one trick, and I one tricked it on my Oceania account, um, all the way up to Masters, as we were just discussing. And it wasn't that bad of a journey. And so when the patch dropped, Jinx got a 5 AD buff, which was the impact in a positive way for Jinx. But Brawler Blasters kind of fell off, I think. Have you, Jelly? Have you done a lot of playing on this patch, and
I've
what do you
done
think of it?
I've done a decent handful. I'd say this patch, I've actually gone about 50-50 between League of Legends and TFT. I am hard stuck in both ranked divisions, so there's that. Um, with that being said, I actually have tried Brawler Blasters with Jinx. I kind of the first time I tried it, I kind of trolled it a little bit, as you saw one time I streamed it. I kind of trolled it a little bit, but I think with the Jinx buff, it actually for once I think Jinx is actually in a balanced spot. I think even with some of the item changes, I think she's like a good spot. Like don't need to be touched again for a while.
Yeah, there were a lot of um, so the interesting thing about this patch is that they did, in my opinion, make a lot of small changes, and they made a lot of. There were, in general, a lot of changes. Like they buffed a lot of the 8 synergy traits,
The 8 and 9, yeah.
which, and To a degree, those are like you have to really high roll to hit those 8 or 9 synergy traits. So the impact to the current meta where those changes are concerned actually aren't that impactful because not too many people are running 8 battle casts or 9 rebels or 8 rebels or whatever the synergy for rebels is. But
Yeah, it's very
um,
rare because it takes like at least, at most, 2 spats. I think at least 2 spats.
yeah, you could really high roll out of your mind and hit like 3 rebel spats or something, but then that is just on a different level of
Right.
extreme luck.
Yeah, I mean,
um,
there's also was a tiny nerf to the mana reave items and the mana reaver effect in itself from Ezreal ability, still shroudness and mana reavers. I don't.
yeah,
I think particularly, I don't think this changed too much. I mean, they're annoying items to deal with or and abilities, but I think general mana nerfs is more effective than kind of this random small nerf that they started out in traits in.
right, right,
And
absolutely. Like, um, so Astro Snipers, like I think 2 of the units that got quote unquote nerfed,
don't
and I
even
say
get me
quote unquote.
started.
I mean, like, okay, so Jin and Timo both got 0.05 attack speed nerfs, right? So they
Like
attack.
attack speed mean anything on Jin?
It's kind of funny because, like, okay, you look at 0.05, and the first thing that comes to my mind is I'm just kind of like,
Oh, less
did that really
damage.
do anything?
Like any other unit, be like, oh look, that's a sizable nerf. To Jin, it's like, oh, I just need AD. Who cares?
True. Um, yeah, I mean, if you look at like, so this is what I compared it to when I saw it. I'm like 0.05% or 0.05. That's like the interest rate on my savings account. And in like 10 years, I could have another $2, right? Like, it's not nothing, but was it really that impactful? I think not, which is why I think Astro Snipers is still a pretty strong comp.
Yeah, I think Astral Snipers is still strong. It's still contested often in the games I've been in. I still lose to it, 8 out of 10 times, but it's whatever. I think some of these like 9 trait buffs are just kind of like random, but understandable considering like when you do hit it, they want it to be like powerful, not just like another notch or another check mark of hitting the synergy. The
Yeah.
I think the chrono one is like 8 chronos, like really? Like you got to buff the first like 4 or 6 to even make 8 worth it cuz I think 8 is kind of troll.
Yeah. For the most part, I feel like no one was really valuing anything over 2 chrono. So if you want more people to play it, it's going to need some pretty insane buffs like they just did to it.
I mean,
So,
I can understand like the really really weird small approach to it cuz in the auto chess and Dota auto chess, like when they changed, I think there was a trait that buffed attack speed similar to Chrono. Like when they like had it like knocked down at the first, like it was insane. So I mean, attack speed I think is like underestimated when it is good.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Even I mean, unlike League of Legends, attack speed without damage mean nothing, but in TFT, attack speed means more abilities, which means your board's gonna get wiped.
Oh
Unfortunately,
yeah,
especially with some of
absolutely.
these units. Uh,
Yeah.
and then we got some kind of weird. I don't know why they did this. The mech pilot, like the first few levels, got nerfed a tad bit. I still think mech pilots personally still need another nerf because I think majority of the time I can't even kill Mecha Garen with whatever I'm running, which is utterly frustrating for me. But Dude, I
Yeah,
would
man.
kill like half the infiltrators, but Mecha Garen is still standing, and I lose like 8 HP alone from that unit. So it's just like, either I don't do enough damage, Mech Pilots is really good, or I'm trolling, or it's all the three, one or the other, or all of them.
Oh man, I don't even want to get started on mech. I hate mech so much. Like like
Oh, me too.
I can't
It
tell
needs
you
to be nerfed.
how many times I've killed all the units except the mech, and sometimes the mech is still standing when the rest of my team has already been wiped.
Oh,
Uh,
I've been in that
you
same
know,
boat.
there was
Same boat.
another time when I actually had a really good Zephyr cheese um, on the mech,
Nope.
and yeah, oh yeah, oh dude, you wouldn't believe what
One v
happened.
nine.
So, well,
1v9.
because of the positioning, the way the positioning worked was that I killed the back line, and that was okay, but because the mech was still Zephyred by the time I had
Killed him.
killed the backline units, Jinx was in the Mecha Garen's face. you know? And it's like,
Says
okay,
he
I just hurt
came
myself
down,
by
he
Zephyring the
rained
mech.
hell with his
Yeah,
bramble
dude.
vest, Warmog, the items stacked on him. And
Yeah,
when you
dude. It
did
was
kill it, here comes
absolutely
three
insane.
little shits coming out to kill the rest, to finish the job it started.
Oh man. I can't wait for set 4 when mech isn't here anymore.
Oh, dude,
In set 2.
I'm so ready for set 4. Like, I'm just playing for the hell of it at this point. If I go up, I
Yeah,
go
I
up. If
mean,
I don't, I don't.
they annoy me as much as York did in set 2.
Oh, I loved
um
Yorick, even though Yorick was like a pretty broken unit.
yeah, he could just never be balanced until maybe the very
Maybe
end, but
yeah, right
even
at
that
the
pain,
end.
like, yeah, nerfed him straight into the ground was the only way to balance him. Honestly.
Uh, 9 rebels got buffed, but that requires spats.
Right.
Speaking of which,
um
I think rebels are actually making a comeback. I don't know if you noticed, they are making a comeback.
they are, and that's because of the
Jinx and
buffs to
GP.
Gangplank. Yeah,
Yup.
exactly.
And we
um
both know Angus loves his gangplank.
yeah, if only he could join us on the call today, because he really does enjoy playing GP. But um you know interestingly enough, right? So at the very, very beginning of the set, when GP was, uh, well, okay, on release, GP was broken.
Oh, he
Like, you
was
straight up
nuts.
didn't need items. His 1 star did 600 damage,
Yeah.
and
Most of the
they
5
soon
cost units
realized,
needed balancing when it was released.
yeah,
Urgot included.
absolutely.
Urgot got gutted,
um,
unfortunately, but
yeah, yeah, his nerfs were pretty unfortunate. But current GP at 550 damage only does 50 less damage than his original on release Gangplank. So 1 star GP right now is pretty strong.
yeah, but I think in the current set of things with the way how damage works and how everything else falls in, I think hitting a 1 star GP is actually kind of rewarding again and not just kind of like pushing your advantage. Because by the time you hit it, depending on when, you're either like top 6 at least, or depending how you're playing, or you're at the bottom just praying to God that you hope you hit it.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, back then you could reliably find GP at 8 because there weren't as many 5 cost units.
Right.
but but now, because there's so much more, like, when you hit a GP, it actually feels pretty good.
What? I think there's 6 5 cost units now?
Yeah, at least I can't name all of them
We got
off the top of my head.
we got Janna, right? We got Aurelion Soul, GP,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Urgot.
Yep.
That's 4 of them right there. Echo. That's 5.
Mm-hmm.
And Thresh. Thresh is 6. And Lulu, 7. 7 6 5 cost units.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And what Janna and Urgot and Xerath actually didn't
Oh yeah, and
exist on
Xerath.
release.
Eight, eight,
Yeah.
eight 5-cost units. I forgot about Xerath. Yeah.
Ah,
Speaking of which,
yeah.
last game
I
I
mean,
played, I tried to play Dark Stars. Mistake. Mistake.
actually, I feel like it can still do pretty well. Shaco's still very, very annoying, but you gotta hit
Well,
Bloodthirster and
the game I
Shaco.
played was a tragedy. In short, I hit early Shaco, Bloodthirster, never saw another one again. Got
Oh,
contested for it,
yeah.
and I was in a weird hole. So I'm like, well, maybe I hit Xerath, right? Never hit two
Mhm.
star Xerath. So barely hit two
The
star Gen.
feels.
Like almost all the Shakos in Gen were contested. So it's just like a really unfortunate, like bad decision game. That's how I chalked it up.
For sure. I mean, sometimes it be like that, unfortunately.
Have you ever, looking at like the the last tier, buffs? Like, have you ever seen anyone run 6 Vanguards?
I myself have run it, um, and this was in. It wasn't on the current live patch. It was definitely last patch.
Oh, okay.
Um,
With the 1,000
but
armor
like,
when it was 1,000 instead of 900 down.
yes, yes. And the way you could play Vanguard Mystic is, you obviously keep Poppy and Leona on your bench,
Right.
and you flexibly put it in. Like if I know I'm gonna play a Cybernetics player next round, I'll play 6 Vanguards over 4 Mystic. If I'm getting the Mech guy, I'll play 4 Mystic, 4 Vanguard instead of, you know, um, six
Oh,
Vanguards and
okay,
what have
okay.
you.
That makes sense like that.
Hmm.
I'm sitting here thinking like, man, if I ran 6 Vanguard, I'd run like Cassio carry with like Karma as the second Mystics and then like Jano, and that'll be done. Done. Ship it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not sure what to play, it is way safer because then you activate the Force Energy trait for both Vanguard and Mystic, and it's good into a lot of matchups. But if you're playing Cybernetics or Jinx,
Or
Irelia's
Blades.
never going to get her reset off. Yeah, or Blade Masters even. 6 Vanguard absolutely stomps Shredder, right? And then incoming the Soraka heal, like there's just
Yeah. Oh,
in
Soraka.
general
Yeah.
there's no beating it.
Yeah. I ran Shredder a couple times, only successful like once out of the fives, and that was in a norms game.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
I don't think it's anything like meta abusing, but a strategy to go with.
yeah, I mean it's not as dominant as it was towards the end of set 3 and nearing the 3.5 mid set expansion. But still pretty good. Treebeard ran it in Fight Night Rising the last time they had it, and he top two'd with it, if not one, two of those games, and they play a total of 4 games, so it was pretty good.
With Vanguards?
With Shredder,
Oh, with
3 star
Shredder.
Zyke.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think it's situational. What you got? What others got going?
True.
I mean, it's rare somebody Vanguard stacks anyways. So usually, like at most, it's like 2, sometimes 4, depending.
Right. Right.
Um, I say looking at individual champions, nothing really like comes out to me except the Jinx 580 buff, the Jinx like the tiniest attack speed nerf I've seen, but I think they kind of offset each other. Fizz rank 1
Right.
getting a tiny nerf, and then I think the biggest one that stands out to me is the Bard nerf,
Yeah.
dropping
Uh,
from 8 to 5 mana per auto.
if you run a 1 star Bard right now,
And
it's just so crappy. You get like
I
two
think I
meeps
think
at
early
best.
I think early is good, but then I think the people who like abuse Bard and then like pivot into something else, I think like is less likelihood now with this tiny nerf. Unless you're like going Astro Sniper side, ideally, you just give Bard blue buff until you get a Teemo and Gnar.
Yeah. Yeah, he can pay off in more ways than one. So If you rolled all the way down at level 7, you're gonna need a combination of Bard and basically not rolling to rebuild your your economy back up, and you match levels by selling Bard XP
Right.
um, to rebuild your economy to push level 8 or maybe even level
9.
9 for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Like I say, I think there's been a couple games I've played recently where I would hit Bard like from one of the random like loot things before the first round of battling, and it's still kind of nutty how much you can still stack it up early.
Yeah, if Bard generates at least 3 meeps, he's paid himself off, and so everything else you get after
I
that
mean, you could just
is
get one if you got it for free. Hashtag worth.
true.
That's the only time I really get it, when I get a free one.
Yeah.
Like TurboTax, free, 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 free. I don't. It's great.
Yeah. um, but you have to also account, like, Bard can just hold tier and AP items, and it's basically like he didn't take that big of a nerf, right?
Yeah, which is really, really frustrating, especially when you have to play against a sorcerer comp or mech sorcerers or Star Guardian sorcerers. Like, even I think especially like a Victor centric comp, like any of those three, like is super frustrating for me to play against, because I think Victor in himself needs like a pretty good like nerf, like a nerf hammer to the knee would be appreciated.
Yeah, he got some, and then he became unplayable, and so they had to buff him again to make him playable, and now he feels I want to say a little bit broken, but he's not horrendous. He's not like unbeatable, you know.
I don't think he's unbeatable, but he's very, very hard to beat, especially with mech
True.
pilots being frustratingly, annoyingly tanky for unknown balancing reasoning beyond me. I have
Oh
lost
yeah,
so many rounds because of like just a Victor laser just slicing through half my team and one shotting it.
true.
Level
Yeah,
2
by
Victor
the
with Deathcap, blue buff, and Morelos. Good game. Any comp I'm running, I'm
yeah.
just like, even with like 2 mystics, I was like, I don't think I win this every time I ran into it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when I do,
You know,
it's like when I'm right on the cusp of hitting top 4 every time.
yeah. By the third Victor ult with those items, you're if 4 units are still alive, they're now dead.
It just seems to me like if you're gonna play sorcerers, you should prioritize Victor, and then like Syndra Vel'Koz accordingly. I don't even see that many Vel'Koz or like squid comps anymore. Squid centric
uh,
comps.
well, Vel'Koz isn't in the game anymore.
Oh right, I'm trolling. I thought he still was. I forgot. I'm trolling.
Yeah.
Then it's Victor Syndra, and then, well, depending how late you get, maybe Xerath. Syndra Xerath, I think, is kind of in the same boat. Just different spikes, different cost.
Yeah. So for sure, if I'm playing
If Victor doesn't
Star
get
Guardians,
if Victor doesn't get nerfed, I think the synergy has to be nerfed. At least one of the two, I'd be satisfied. If not both, I think sorcerers are a little
yeah,
overpowered.
yeah. Uh, they so one of the things that frustrated me the most about Vanguard Mystic is, even if you had 4 Mystic, you couldn't really reliably beat uh, Star Guardian sorcerers, and the reason is because eventually Syndra will get enough orbs to start one-shotting people, right? And one of those units is going to be your Soraka, the unit that's keeping your entire team alive. Which is really frustrating because, in a lot of other comps, you have to give up a lot to try and play for Mystic.
Right. Or
So
at
having,
least 2.
even when
You
you
have to
have
give up
four
a decent
Mystic,
amount for 2.
yeah, yeah, that too, absolutely. So I stopped playing Vanguard Mystic. I think it's actually, if there's any comp that you can say that's quote unquote fallen off, or has not been very high in priority, no one's really running Vanguard Mystic right now.
Yeah, Vanguard Mystic is kind of sprinkled. in my games. I've also like Dark Stars have totally just fallen off the face of the earth. So there's that going on too.
Hmm.
But
Absolutely.
ironically, in the last couple games I played on the last couple days, the
Hmm.
remember that Caitlyn reroll comp, the Korean Caitlyn comp? I've been
Oh
seeing some
yeah.
of that springing up.
Oh, interesting. I haven't seen a single one yet. At least not
May-
on this patch.
Maybe in Plat Elo, but in like the last 2-3 games I played, a guy actually I think one of them actually won the game running the Caitlyn like centric comps where you got a little bit of everything. Where you high roll Caitlyn, Jarvan, TF, and Zoe. Similar
Crazy.
to Shredder, but just Caitlyn carry instead. And then
Hmm.
Rakan Ash, I
And
believe.
Zillions, yeah.
Yeah. And then Rakan Ash Nico accordingly.
Okay.
Uh,
Very. I haven't seen a single one, and I don't know what the Korean server is like, but I haven't seen a single Caitlyn reroll comp for a
BT Devs,
minute.
my 3-star E couldn't cut through that comp.
Really?
Really? No joke.
Do you have Did you have perfect items, Yi?
No, I think I was actually in that the game that the guy won. I actually did not hit rapid fire, and I'm just like in the stream. I was like, this is why you don't. This is why rapid fire is important.
Yeah.
Like a
He
baby
just
rage
ints.
moment.
Oh, Master Yi straight up ints if he doesn't have an RFC.
Well, it's just
Um,
like it's not the same. It's not the same.
I've gone eighth before hitting 3-star Master Yi.
I haven't done that one. I've gone 7th before hitting 3-star Jin before, but that was like
Oh
several
wow.
patches ago.
Oh, that's gotta be frustrating.
Yeah, it was one Dark Stars where we were like actually contestable with Seraph. Done that before. Everything
Dang.
else was like 1-2-star, but Jin was 3, and I had no Zerath I think at the time. But you think 3-star
Okay.
Jin, 3-star Jin at the time would get you top 3 in any I think meta, but
Yeah.
uh, and then with the last bit of the patch here, I think the buffing of 3-star champions again, like hitting the highest tier, like on the some of the 1 cost units or the 2 cost units, is kind of I think questionable. It kind of surprised me that the high roll like meta didn't or the reroll meta didn't really come back from this buff,
Yeah.
like with some of
Um.
them.
So Gunmei, who more recently announced he was leaving the competitive TFT scene. Um, you can find more information on his Twitter on his decision making there. He did a little post about it, but he is the one of the only people I feel like I've seen. Angus has run it a few times in our games, but Gunmei has successfully run Space Jam. Um, you know, in the in Fight Night when I was competing against him, and he tried to run it last week in Fight Night as well. And Darius 3-star is one of the few things that actually got buffed in patch 10.16.
Yeah, it did. I see it here.
I think it went from 800 to 888 damage. The
Yeah,
extra
the extra
88
88,
damage.
which I believe when he
Uh,
ulted it's true damage. Is it?
okay.
I think it is. I think it's
You know,
Delta's true damage. I could be wrong.
I'm actually not entirely sure, but he it's still like, and Gunmei has won with it in Fight Night Rising in set 3 when he played against myself. But even with that buff, he actually unfortunately had a 7th place game with it last week. So some of these 3-star buffs didn't really do that much justice, but it's not nothing for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it just made me super like nervous saying it because I'm just like, oh boy, I think Vu's gonna be a one-trick shredder player again. That was one of my thoughts. And then me and Angus, I think
uh,
one night was like, man, do you think Vu's gonna become a A one-trick rebel player again? Is he gonna be the rebel abuser again?
Yeah, I, I mean, myself and the entire ranked ladder and delicious milk and K3 soju, um, running only rebels on release was actually a lot of fun.
I actually ran
Reached
six
diamond
rebels
pretty.
recently in a norms game.
Okay.
I didn't hit GP, which was the down part, but I still hit top 4 with like Jinx carry and Acel items and Janna. It wasn't.
Okay.
I didn't think it was too bad. It was actually I felt pretty good.
Nice.
I think six rebels is actually I think viable. I think that's what I'm gonna go with. It's viable. Doesn't get you guaranteed top 4 every time, but it's
Right.
definitely viable.
It should feel pretty strong again because GP is close to his on release damage at 1 star.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So like I said, I I think overall, not bad patch. I didn't, I think some things I think were necessary. I think overall it was kind of a weird patch. So
there's one thing we didn't actually talk about yet, and
the
want to
item
get your
changes.
well, hmm. I guess there's a few things we haven't talked about yet, but is there a particular order you wanted to discuss some of these in? Because there was actually one thing I really did want to talk about.
I'll bring it up then. We can come back to items later.
Okay. The new Galaxy Salvage World.
Oh, where you sell your unit off and it breaks off into components. Yeah,
Yes.
It's called Salvage World. When you sell a champion, any completed items they are holding are broken down into their components. And the star cluster was removed.
Yeah, definitely.
For those of you that don't know, star cluster is when on the wheel the 1, 2, 3 cost units were already 2-starred, or like they were upgraded. They were the upgraded versions.
So, yes.
I actually really enjoyed star cluster. It was really helpful in reroll comps.
It's actually for that reason why I hated it.
Oh, dude, if I'm in Star Cluster or like the reroll Galaxy, I am playing a reroll comp every single time almost.
Can you imagine Star Cluster when you're running Blade Bros?
Oh, dude,
And getting
so
Master Yi, with a bow.
I still don't win.
That's 3 free Yis.
Yeah. And I'll still find a way to not win because of goddamn sorcerer and mech pilots. But anyways, feeling like a villain from Scooby. It was like, I would have gotten away with it wasn't for the blasted mech pilots and Victor face melting my team. Dumb Victor and dumb mech pilots.
Oh man, like
which in hindsight, since they're stronger, maybe the Bang Bros will cease to live on.
I'm
I love Blades, man.
Oh, for sure. Actually, I ran that comp a few times because I feel like Brawler Blaster's fallen out of the meta, regardless of the Jinx buffs. I think because some other things around Jinx got stronger, which I think has made Brawler Blaster kind of fall off a little bit. But aside from that point, I thought I would like Star Cluster a little bit more with the changes to selling units. You basically get the full value back for a 2-star unit minus the 1 gold, except when it's 1-star, basically.
Right.
Because you could go for 8 gold on a carousel. You could make econ after selling that unit, for example. But when it's a reroll game and other people are getting 3 stars because of the unit they get off of Star Cluster, it's actually a little frustrating.
Dude, it is such a satisfying feeling from the other spectrum.
Oh, for sure.
But I haven't won games because of it, so I don't have a whole lot to say much on it.
Yeah.
But I mean, with it being replaced with Salvage World, I know you have some strong emotions tied to this new galaxy.
Yeah. Salvage World. Whew, where
I
do I begin?
personally like it,
I think,
and I think
you
it's
know,
great for beginner players.
true. You make the wrong item, you can sell it, and you make a new item, right?
I mean, combined
Uh,
items early is powerful, but with the ability to break them down later on too, especially with an item holder, it's so valuable. And then especially when you get in the later game, when you get a completed item off the carousel and you sell it, it breaks off into their components, which is just like so satisfying. It's like
oh,
two.
for
It's
sure.
like a 2-for-1 deal. It's like, oh, I need a BF. Well, we'll just throw in a tier on top of that. Spirit Sojin. That's what you picked up, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, I really only
So
needed the BF, but I'll take a free tier. I won't complain.
true. It it really so Mortdog did say it is probably the most mechanically intensive uh galaxy, I think, of all the other galaxies they've made, because if you this is the only galaxy, in my opinion, where it pays off if you're getting more dogged. you know?
Man, when you mean Mort Dog, like getting lucky.
No, more dog referring to like I need a partial item component on the next carousel, or like I'm
Oh,
sacking rounds to get priority pick at the next carousel, and I need a last whisper or something, right? And then the next carousel has all completed items, right?
or like you only need like a glove, but you just get a glove related item and sell it off, and there you go. There's your glove.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing I found really good, and like I was saying, it's it's I think the first Galaxy on release that was pretty well received by the entire community.
The salvage one?
Um, yeah, absolutely. So from personal experience, there are aspects of it that I do like, and there are aspects that I don't like. Um, I guess to
Like the
start
force
off
of nature one?
oh yeah, I'm gonna get to that one. But what I did like was that, like, you know, I needed a transition unit for Brawler Blasters, and I didn't hit a Kog'Maw or a Lucian, but I did have a sword, a chain vest, a rod, and a belt, right? And so obviously the chain vest and the belt are going to be red buff for Jinx. But because I didn't hit any blasters, I could actually make GA Morellos since I high rolled in early Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia was my transition unit. She just didn't have blaster items, and because I could make GA and Morellos instead of a red buff and something else, I could use Cassio to carry me through the early to mid game until I found Jinx, where I could sell her off and make other items with those components. So I could complete the red buff, or use the sword to make into a giant slayer later. I think was really 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 good about that galaxy. The only inconvenience is that when you sell your transition unit, you have to remake the items again, and that's a little frustrating. But that's just how the galaxy works.
Yeah. Like for like the instance you told me before in messages about force of nature, you know, coming apart when he sold it.
Oh yeah, dude.
And it
I got
cost I think it costed you a top 4, right?
Oh yeah, dude. I got fifth because I made Force of Nature and I sold the unit, but not remembering it was Salvage Planet or whatever, and it benched my Jinx, which cost me a lost round because I didn't have the Force of Nature anymore.
Yeah, the Jinx
you know.
got benched and so did your LP. You got put under the bench.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh man.
What was
Uh,
giveth shall be taketh. And
true.
that's how that went for you. And that one
Uh,
was a game for the books.
funny thing, I was watching TSM Keen last night, and he was playing, and he had this planet, right?
The salvage.
Um, Yes, and he made a force of nature and played Zerath, and then sold the unit that had Force of Nature,
And
and then
it's
it benched his Zerath that he just put on the board. And so with 1 second left, he quickly slammed Force of Nature on Zerath again, and then he was like, "Ha, saved," which actually did happen.
I can just imagine was like, oh no, I made a mistake. Or be like, I forgot. Like he just puts it so simple. I mean, it might be because of like his, English is second language, but he just puts it so simple.
Yeah.
Like I said, I haven't watched any streams lately, so I've been caught up with IRL stuff and my own streams at, the crack of midnight.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, the TFT World Championship is being played on this patch also. So they get, um, you know, binary star and star cluster removed, but salvage planet added, right? So it's actually really good that they get this patch to play, worlds on, because it's not like there's one
Dominating
absolutely
comp, right?
dominating
Yeah,
Exodia comp, and the one person that gets to hit that, in a game just wins that lobby, right? Like,
agreed.
there's potential to outplay right now, just given how balanced it is. Some people find it, I think, boring when it's this balanced, but I actually think this balance is really, really good for the game. I hate how long it took for the game to get into this state, but safe to say, I
That's
think we have a good patch.
Yeah, I think it. I mean, with it taking so long for it to be as balanced as now, I think it's just been kind of like a general sentiment for each set so far. Like they take a few patches to try to dial it down for some, dial it up for others. Trying to find that like almost like equilibrium or happy middle for like 80% of the players. I just threw a number out. 80% just sounded good.
For sure. Um, it's good that we have this patch for sure. If every it's not, I don't think it's very realistic expectation to say we need to have every set be completely balanced on release, because the set has to mature a little bit and you have to see what's broken before you can make balance changes. So
Right. It's
I'm
just
hoping that. Go ahead.
I'd say it's just a matter of like because in PB it's such a small pool that of comparison of data that when it hits live they have way more to work with. So that's just putting in retrospect.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like in future sets, if we could reach the same state where we are with set 3 towards the end, because remember, I think set 4 is coming out at the end of September.
Right when the
Uh,
ranked season ends and World is
yeah.
happening.
Mm-hmm.
It
Absolutely.
might be closer October, but yeah,
Right.
or
If
like
we could
in
get to
middle of
this
it.
state with set 4, but like in half the time, I think we'll have like a really, really good set to play on for a while. And uh just having overall balance, I think, is really good for the game as well.
I think balance is such a like gray area. I think it's just a matter of just making sure everything's like as close to power as possible with smaller big
Yeah.
changes. It's such a gray area that thank God I'm not on the balance team. That's all I have to say. I just get the baby rage like anyone else.
Yeah. I remember it was really funny on LCS when the casters were joking about Jat joining the balance team and then going back to the casting desk. Because he apparently hated Udyr, so he joined the balance team, nerfed Udyr, and then came back.
Well, he did some other small changes. Like I think he had a effect on the Galio changes like shortly afterwards, and I think some of the
Right.
Lysandra changes. So I mean, he did more than that. I mean, just because you don't like Udyr, you don't gotta hit. I mean, Udyr's getting reworked anyways. I think in 2021, his rework is a little far out.
For sure.
Much needed rework, even though we're gonna have to wait, another year probably before it comes. in
Yeah.
in time. But
Yeah.
some of these items on this patch too also got reworked, like Hand of Justice, Gunblade, Locket. Well, Locket got changed. I shouldn't say reworked, but
Right. Um, yeah, certain item buffs. Hand of Justice is a big one, right? And I remember when Mort Dog was going through the patch rundown, it
mm-hmm.
was basically like if you rolled the 50% damage spell buff or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it felt really good. But if you ever rolled the
The heal.
50 HP heal, that was just the crappiest feeling on earth. And he's actually correct.
Yeah, like, it's give and take, but I think the way they have it now, it is. I think it's actually. I feel that it's just a better version. I might have butchered the word wrong. Better choice over Bloodthirster right now, as of right now.
Yeah, yeah. It certainly is like okay. So Hand of Justice used to be. I don't have any other item components to make anything else out of this glove and tier, so I think I'll slam Hand of Justice and hope that I get the 50% spell damage increase.
Uh,
But now it should feel good either way. You're
right,
either going to get a better Bloodthirster or you're going to get the spell damage.
right,
And
and being a big Blade Master player, I am. Like, that feels really good on Aurelia. That's like really really good on Yasuo. Like, just one. You only need one. You don't need to stack them. Don't
right.
stack them. You only need one. But yeah, it actually feels, I think, 100 times better for the sake of late game than it used to. Heck, probably feels good on Riven. I haven't tried it on Riven, but Riven's just such
Yeah,
a weird unit.
I feel like Riven feels really bad right now.
I mean, her level 3 got like buffed out the ass. Got buffed to like a whole nother level. But I mean, in like retrospect, like how often do you see a level 3 Riven just one like just ruining your like boxing your team? Like, come on.
No, absolutely.
I
You
have yet
definitely
to hit one or seen one. But
you don't see a lot of 3-star 4 costs in general.
I mean, usually it's like Jinx Aurelia. That's it. Just Jinx and Aurelia. I think I've seen one Gnar before, but that was it.
Yep. I've had a 3-star Gnar eliminate me into a 6th place because I low rolled, the fight RNG to fight that guy who eliminated me in 6th, and that can feel bad.
All right. I'll say, looking at Gunblade, dude, gun. The Gunblade changes with sorcerers, man. He don't got hail reduction. It's just, ugh, so disgusting. Dude, I am not kidding. In that game I played Dark Stars, the Syndra literally there were so many balls on the ground. By the way, like, this is like the 5th time she's using her ability, but
Okay.
she had like 10 HP, literal like sliver, level 2 Syndra Gunblade. Oh, she just threw 15 balls into my full health level 2 Jhin, full HP again with Gunblade, and had the shield. I think had a shield, and I'm just like, no heal reduction, OP. Like, this is insane. Nobody can kill that Syndra with that Gunblade.
Yeah, absolutely. Each orb, depending on star level, does like 150 or 200 or something, right? So, um, even without heal reduction, if you've got at least 5 orbs on the ground at 2-star, you do like 1,000 damage to one or multiple units. Um, the Gunblade changes, I think, were needed because Gunblade wasn't really an item people were
Really
looking
went for,
forward to
yeah.
slam. But now it's worth slamming for sure. With the if you overheal now, you get a shield,
Right.
right? And if
Especially if
you
you run
don't,
Soraka on Star Guardian. Yeah.
and this shield actually stacks, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So if you keep on overhealing, so like on Aurelian Soul, if you keep on overhealing and you keep on casting, you just get a bigger shield, right?
Yeah, it gets capped at 400 the Hex Tech shield, but yeah.
Right, right.
But I mean, when you get an 8 hole, it's kind of hard to avoid damage in that retrospect. But
Hmm.
uh, this I think the Swordbreaker buff was interesting. It feels like in the games I've seen it actually had a very good like presence. Like, oh wow, this item actually made me useless. It's not just an item that exists anymore.
Yeah. So that change was from 25% to 33%. Um, and I haven't really, it's still not an item, in my opinion, worth slamming because you could do so much more
I think.
with.
Oops, did I just lag? Oh boy.
It affects units that uh, depend on auto attacks, but I haven't seen it be particularly impactful towards the auto attacking units. Like, oh, some examples: Jinx, Vayne, Irelia. I haven't seen it impact games or completely swing fights because you slammed it first item.
I
Just as
think
an example.
I think the only way it could swing fights, like hypothetically, right? You go Brawler Blaster. Jinx is your main carry, right? Your main blaster carry. But your
Right,
secondary, make it uh, Lucian or Ezreal or Kog'Maw, whichever of the three, right?
right.
Because nobody ain't gonna use Graves. Everyone knows this. If you are, you're trolling us. Go with Space Pirates. But anyways, it's just go like Runins, and I think the Swordbreaker, and I think it actually could have kind of an impact, kind of similar to like the first set with Gunslingers. You just run like all like the items that just took stats away or lowered stats. Which thank God that doesn't exist anymore. That was super frustrating.
I mean, we basically have gunslingers right now with blasters, right? It's basically the same synergy but rebranded.
Yeah, yeah. And then thank God Rangers doesn't exist, but the static shiv like changed where it does true damage to a target that has a shield or its CC is interesting. An additional 85 damage.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I'd say I just find it interesting.
Sure. Um, yeah, static shiv right now, or just in general, hasn't. I feel like hasn't become, even with the changes, which broken or not, hasn't really, I guess, shaken up the meta that much, because there aren't really. Uh, that's what I'm looking for. There aren't a lot of units in general that
That
static shiv
shields.
would be good on.
Right. Like it'd just
Um,
be like a locket stacking counter.
yeah. So people running reroll battle casts, which I think has been starting to make a little bit of a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
Static shiv is good on Kog'Maw, but so is red buff.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Um,
items good on Kog'Maw, actually.
True. For instances of damage, he actually procs Morello's too, but whether Morello's is a S tier item on Kog'Maw, I don't think it
I'll
is.
take red buff every time. Forget Morelos. All right.
Oh, for sure.
If I'm gonna build Morelos, I'd rather just work towards a Rage Blade with Kog'Maw.
Yeah,
If I'm lucky
yeah,
enough. Or Death Cap. And then just slap a giant spell on someone else. But
yeah.
I try
I
to
mean, so
avoid playing Battlecast because I don't think it's good. So
yeah, it's I
it,
mean, and even Battlecast hadn't changed other than the 8 synergy buff to Battlecast,
which
which
I find
I wasn't too
absolutely
impressed.
irate. It made me it made me like pull my hair out when I saw that change to 880 to 1,000. And then I had to like remind myself. He was like, well, how rare you see 8 battle casts. Like, come on. In 100 games, maybe 2 games, you'll see it. So I'm like, fine. I'll just take a loss on those 2 games. So be it. Better RNG player. Better player. You know, he hit 2 spats, and I'm over here just in the dump struggling. No big deal.
Yeah, you never. How many carousel rounds have you ever just gone for a Battlecast spatula? Right? Probably never.
I only take it if I don't see anything else that stands out, and I already have 1 Battlecast unit. Usually between Kog'Maw or Alawi. And that's it.
Yeah.
Because I don't pick up Urgot at all. So Janna is definitely the only like 5-cost unit I pick up. And then like seldomly Thresh, seldomly Echo, depending on what I'm playing. I don't run the Peepa comp where I get every 5-cost unit possible and pray to God it works.
Yeah, it's basically how that comp works. You just don't run.
You just gotta find good item holders until then.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, Battlecast. That man, if Victor eats a nerf like I want, Battlecast I think will fall short again. And then if sorcerers eat a nerf, Battlecast will still be good. But I think the general other comps that like mech pilots, sorcerers, and like Star Guardian sorcerers, I think will take a little bit of a fall, which I think they need to be toned down a little, but like not anything too hampering. That's just my personal gripes.
Sure.
My personal gripes, because sorcerers, I think, in particular Victor, I think is a little much. I think the synergy is too beneficial, especially with Death Cap existing.
So I'm trying to think just in general. Not gonna be hurt if they ever remove Mech, which helps empower Victor to a degree, right?
As long as this set exists, Mechs will never be removed. We both know this.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we're nearing the end of set 3, and if it wasn't, or set 3.5, if it was never removed in the mid-set expansion, it's probably staying.
I miss my Kale, man.
Yeah. Dude, so many people miss Kale right now. It's insane.
I'm relying on you to get me LP, man. I sound like a crack addict saying it.
I'm relying on you to throw your game so I get LP. Nice. No kidding.
Hey, that's okay. There's a reason why I'm only plat 4. For fun region, of course. Dude,
I feel like people are gonna clown on me for saying this if this ever gets clipped and shared, but I feel like NA is definitely one of the more difficult regions where TFT is concerned.
I think I might have said this in the last episode, but in my experience of climbing to Masters, the higher and higher you go, the less and less variety you see people play. And it just kind of sucks the fun out of it a little bit. A little bit for me. Yeah, a little. I love playing a game where half my lobby is going Astro Snipers.
Oh man.
I mean, in this meta, that's probably what it would be. When I was trying to hit Masters before, it'd be like, oh, half my lobby is going for Dark Stars. Well, forget a Jin-centric comp.
Yeah.
Almost the same case now, but it's just
you basically can't run okay, so from my personal experience, if I ever tried to run a meta comp, of all the other people in the lobby who were playing the comp, I was the one who was going 8th because I'm not hitting.
Oh,
right?
we both experienced this because I remember I think the 2 of us went for the same meta comp and I hit it and you didn't. I think you ended up rage quitting. I think you did.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah.
Maybe like
it was
like just play one without me. I need a moment. But I think it came on the back of like 2 or 3 like bottom 4 losses. But some days you're lucky, some days you hit, and some days you get hit. And those are
Oh,
those
for
are one of
sure.
those days for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, funny enough, when no one's running the comp, I can hit the units.
Oh yeah, anyone can hit the units. Just a matter of just when and how you hit it.
Yeah.
That's half the battle, man.
Hitting the units, yeah, just hit.
Hey, anyone could hit. Anyone could get the gold if they just take the time and just hit, man. Just hit.
Dude, okay. Yes, I agree. Have you played have you made any new Smurfs recently and played in towards the lower elos?
I have on the last set I have. I think I hit gold 2 in like 30 games, 20 games. So
Okay.
that was the last set though.
Uh,
This set I haven't played
there's
on it. I only go on my second account when I feel like playing AP Shaco or Udyr and just trolling on
for
regular
sure.
league.
Oh, right, right. Absolutely. There's an insane difference between Diamond 2 and it's like this in Summoner's Rift too, but there's an insane difference in Diamond 2 and Gold 4.
Oh, hands down. Way different metas.
I mean, it's not even that, like, like it's just so much easier. Like I feel like I don't have to reposition. Like I put a shroud to hit a mech and the guy never moves his mech the,
Entire time, yeah.
entire game. Yeah.
The Well, I mean, it carries over a little bit too. Like even in this set, that I've noticed that the difference between gold, plat, and diamond is like the pace of the game is different, right?
Sure.
Because like in gold, most people don't, they're slow playing. Like they don't hit 8 till like, round 5. While in like plat, it's kind of like some people hit 8 at round, 4, 4.5, whatever they're going for. And then diamond, they're just hitting like they're just trying to just get to their break points as fast as possible without like completely blowing their econ. Unless reroll comp, but like the pace of the game is very different, and you can actually feel it once you like go back and forth between like gold and plat elo for sure.
Sure. Definitely. A lot of people deploying the fast 8 where you go to level 8 at 4-3 and hopefully you have between 25 and 30 gold to roll down and hit your units. 4-3 is when you usually find most of the lobby, if not the entire lobby, getting their power spikes or getting their comps online, or at least starting to get their comps online.
At least
Um,
contesting you for sure,
yeah.
because more than
Um,
likely you're not the only one running that comp 9 out of 10 times.
oh, definitely. Definitely towards the higher elos. Um, very rarely, I want to say very rarely, do you see people slow leveling to 8 and then hitting 8 with 50 gold at 5-1. Personally, I do if I have 2 jinxes and one jinx has kept me pretty stable until stage 5. But otherwise, it's all in at 4-3 to farm
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. I'd say just when to actually play the game, the context of the game, it's very different between the elos. That
Absolutely.
like you can, and then once you've been in like all 3, diamond, plat, gold, you can actually like physically feel it.
Oh yeah.
That's
Um,
always been kind of mind blowing to me. And then like sometimes the knowledge and decision making between the elos are a little different too between the players. Like gold, they're still trying to they got their toes in the water, actually learning a little bit. Once they got like the main gist of the game, and then you get to plat, you got like some experimentation, you know, a good comfortable, you know, footing in the water. I should say, if it was a pool, and then diamond, you're like waist deep in it, and then masters, you're like neck deep.
oh yeah, for sure.
It's just like a
Uh,
huge steep, just a huge cliff. You just fall right in.
yeah, back in, I want to say set two, when Plat was feeling kind of good. Um, you know, what took what it took to get to diamond, or essentially just take my skills to the next level in TFT, I had to start actually analyzing, challenger gameplay. I had to start. I looked up a lot, and I mean a lot of like YouTube resources. So Bunny Muffins, if you know him, he has a lot of
Oh yeah.
informational gameplay content. I've, watched a lot of his stuff to start taking myself to the next level. So watching his stuff took me to Diamond, and then starting to analyze Challenger gameplay in Diamond took me to Master. And so, now what's next? I think I just keep doing the same thing and keep trying to push ranks, or, start thinking for myself where the game's concerned, right?
Yeah, so I've never
So
really analyzed it. I've just kind of like watch as like a simple bystander, as a simpleton, just for the enjoyment, more or less. Some because usually they would depending who you watch, either be Soju or some of the bigger names like Keen. They usually explain like based off of comments or what they're thinking. They usually explain, which is also like I think very educational and saves you some of a headache.
yeah, actually, the person who started convincing me to, or not convincing me, but kind of just stated to analyze Challenger gameplay was Raditz. Raditz was like, yeah, so you look at a really good player and you look at their VODs, and every time you have to make a decision, or every time that person
Pause
has
it.
a decision to make, yep, you pause it, you tell yourself what you would do, and then you unpause it and you see what they actually do. And when
Mm-hmm.
it's different, you have to reason with yourself as to why it was different. Or sometimes they explain it too,
or
which is helpful.
or how is that the most benefit? How that person benefited the most out of that choice, right? Which is kind of like the difference between the elos again. Besides the pace of the game, just decision making. Which
Yep.
most of the time I make some bad decisions in games, what's
Oh
holding me
yeah.
back. But you know what?
you know,
If I'm gonna commit, I'm gonna commit, and if I eat an eighth, so be it.
I mean, even in plats, you'll see people like low plat, right?
That's where I'm sitting
Um
in now.
I'm not saying you do this, but I've seen people hold every single item until stage 4 and never slam a single item. And right, usually at that point, you've got slammable items that are going to be good, even if you haven't decided the comp you're running. They're like these general items that are going to be good in any single comp that you try and run, and those items just end up never being slammed. And it kind of baffles me because um, you can't pick up loot boxes even towards the end of the game because your item bench is full,
Oh, I would say usually about halfway, yeah, around like 2 or 3, it'd be like, hey, your bench is full. But I mean, if you're at in context, if you're at 50 HP and the next guy closest to you, if you're at the bottom, is like 75, you should probably start using your items or do something. Spend your money. You're gonna lose if you keep riding the same course, which
Right.
some players do and some don't, and those who don't usually is why they're the first one knocked out.
True. True.
And if
Absolutely.
if they're still the first one knocked out while changing their action, at least they made it interesting for everyone else in the lobby.
Absolutely.
The goal is not to eat 8th or 7th, ideally. I mean, if you have to eat a 5th or 6th, it happens. So be it. But if you eat an 8th, my dude, you either made some bad decisions or you weren't doing something. Or you weren't doing something right. Or you were just very
True.
contested. Sometimes it's the
Or
combination of
you're
all three.
or you're a first or eighth player and you were trying to push level 9 and you shouldn't have, but you decided to sit around anyways.
Yeah, I'm just going to slow level. Yeah, I've been there before, too.
Yeah.
Ironically, happened in that Astro Sniper game that I played recently. Happened to me. 8th because of it. Try to greedily hit 9. It came back to bite me in the ass. It was either an 8th or 7th. I was also playing a contested comp. Like I said, half my lobby usually go Astro Sniper still. And I'm just
Absolutely.
You know, I'm just like, well, I got an early bar. Let's go Astro Snipers. Let's see how that goes. Or just what was laid in my lap. You know, I mean, this is why I try to be the outlier or try to play something different from meta, like the sub viable meta picks. But hence why I've been like playing a lot of Blades, because it's usually not contested. If it is, it's like what other person.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Besides that, I just individually love all those units. So
Yeah, true.
but like, yeah, I will never play like the super meta comp, like when Rebels was like super meta. I didn't play it.
Oh, I played it because when I first saw how strong it was, I didn't need to stream. I just saw Jinxed JK put out a YouTube video, said it was sweeping the ladder, which it was, and how strong it was, and how the positioning worked, and from there I tried it in 3 games. I think I got
The gist.
all firsts.
You're
Yeah,
pretty close, yeah. You usually hit top 4 when
so
you
many
did, so.
firsts. Yeah, absolutely.
But that pretty much wraps up everything in this patch, besides some new little legends coming out for the Spirit Blossom event. We got the Pangu, the Samurai Pangus, a different version of Spirit Blossom Hushtail, and a Spirit Blossom Melisma. I probably just butchered that saying.
Yeah, Hushtail's pretty cool. They I think they're really cool. I personally haven't gotten any of the new little legends myself, so not sure what to think of them yet. But I plan on getting some
I
pretty
definitely want to
soon.
get like
If not,
some of these new ones. I think they just dropped recently with the release of Yone as the new champion in League of Legends. But
right.
which I broke out the wallet for and caved in. But hey, I'm just saying, man, the Samurai Pangu, it doesn't get better than that.
True.
But wrapping that all up, 10-17, some of the staff's going on vacation, taking some time to recover. So it's going to be a very, very small patch at best. Which should be dropping here probably in the next few days.
Yeah, I think so. Unless I had the patch timings wrong, I would actually have to look at. Mort Dog has a pinned tweet about when patches are going to.
Oh, it says this patch was released 6 days ago when I'm looking at it. So I think we got another.
Oh,
I think we got another
so
week on this patch. So
we do.
and then whatever small changes 10-17 bring, it's going to be a really small patch. It'll probably be the quickest episode for us yet. The smallest episode, probably.
Oh, for sure. I think an important thing to remember is that the people behind the game are human too, so they're gonna need breaks to bring us an awesome set 4, and I'm willing to bet that we're gonna get a pretty good set 4 here in the next month and a half, I believe.
It's going to be similar to other set, set 4 be super hyped, and then after a month, people, who are committed to the game will keep playing, and then people are burned out, they'll go do something else. So
True.
I think it's just going to be a matter of preference again, because we both know as TFT players, it's a very, very small niche community.
Yeah, it's surprisingly. I feel like it's surprisingly small. I thought the community was going to be bigger, just given how big Riot Games is, and by no means do people play TFT, but it's smaller than you would think, and it's pretty nice. It can be nice.
It's actually bigger than I thought, because on the Dota auto chess, like, it was really popular for a while, and then it like quickly died down. Where like those who really, really love it and the genre just stuck around, which was like a very, very small fraction of like the hype that built up from when Dota auto chess was like really popular at the time, which was a mod. Dota was originally a mod of World of Warcraft, the original, and then now League spawned from it, and then now auto chess is a mod of Dota that spawned from it. It's just mods taking their own genres, becoming its own things.
It's Warcraft 3 you're thinking of.
Yeah, that's what. Sorry.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft, the MMO. Big, smooth brain moment. Small brain moment.
Yeah. Now, surprisingly, I didn't like Dota that much when it was on Warcraft 3 custom, but then I actually ended up really liking League of Legends, which I thought was really weird, but hey,
Right.
if it works, it works.
Well, with that being said, you got any closing statements you'd like to offer? Anything you want to share? What's new? What you want to share with the world?
Um, yeah, I mean, where it currently stands, just I'm looking forward to more Giant Slayer TV fight nights. I want to apply to be on another one, so we'll see if I end up being on another one before the set is over. But no promises there. If not, I'm gonna try and return to it later in set 4. Um, but yeah, other than that, there's not much else from me. How about you, man?
Uh, I IRL's keeping me very very busy. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Because me being an essential worker, I don't work. I don't have the luxury of working from home. So there's that. Uh,
for sure.
and with that being said, I actually did get uploaded another League of Legends video content today on my YouTube channel at Jelly Slayer 19.
Sweet. Gotta go check it out. I'll post it in my Discord after this as well.
Yeah, I mean I released so I couldn't sleep last night and I just threw that to get I threw half of it together and then I finished it today. So that happened. So I mean I'm pushing more for my YouTube content, which I think is going to be surrounded. I'm not going to really do a whole lot of TFT related content outside of the podcast here or this, whatever this is, whatever you want to call it. I can't,
TFT discussion.
I can't quite call it a podcast if I'm not, uploading as a podcast on iTunes Store. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm sitting at. I'm probably in the next week or two, I'm probably gonna stream more Middle-earth, Shadow of War, and actually I'm probably gonna stream some Phantasy Star Online too. I'm actually kind of hyped to try it.
Sick. Well, best of luck to you, man.
Yep. And with that, we're gonna be probably back 2 weeks from now with 1017. Everyone,
Yep, probably.
everyone, stay safe. Have a good time, and just protect yourself. Take care of yourself, everyone.
I second facts.
That will be my recording.
Okay, sweet.
I'm actually gonna